Hello there. Welcome to my demo of Gamcare. So Gamcare is basically a desktop application that allow users to be able to store their medical records. Um, the reason why I started working on this application is basically just to familiarize myself with Java. So I wanted to learn Java and eventually get to learn um, data structures and algorithms on a deeper level. And I thought the most important place for me to start with that is probably just to learn Java. I know the language doesn't matter when you're trying to learn the fundamentals, but Java is a language that I wanted to learn for a while, so I thought let me give it a try. And this is just a short demo, and like the application is not perfect as I'm still working on it, and I'm trying to apply different skills that I've learned from my previous job at Cyberduck. So oops, sorry for that error. So yeah, the code is not perfect, but I'm still working on it as I go along. And I'll show you a basic demo here for what a regular user sees. So basically, Gamcare has three different type of users. You have a regular user who's supposed to be a patient, and then you have a doctor um, who has certain privileges that the average user doesn't have, and then you have an admin user. So I'm going to start with a basic patient, and the reason why I'm doing that because then you can get to see it from the application, like you can get to see the application from a simpler standpoint to a complex standpoint. The application itself is not complex at all. It's just basic CRUD functionalities, um, and I mainly focused on the code. So what I tried to do was just basically um, apply some of the skills that I've learned, as I said, from my previous job, some coding principles, and then just ensuring that I apply things like OOP and also ensure that the overall code is clean. So yeah, I'll start here by logging in with a simple user, Julius at Yahoo. Actually, I was going to log in with a patient, so I'll go with King, and they all have the same password. These passwords are all hashed as well in the database. Now, if I log in, and yeah, this is the only page that the user sees for now, and they get to see all their details and then the exercises they've been doing, the meals, and the sort of reports based on their overall medical records. And this application is really simple, as I've explained. It's just a um, solution that I am building for Gambia in general. That's why you might see some of the stuff that you don't like. If you're looking at this from a Western country, there are some fields here that might not necessarily make sense. Things like tribe, um, and then when you come down a little bit, I can try to look for something else. Yeah, I can't find it at the moment. But yeah, things like tribe, because when you go to the hospital in the UK, they don't necessarily ask you what tribe you are. But yeah, so I tried to make this application for users in Gambia, because in Gambia everything is still paper based. This is not a real application, obviously, it's just a practice project, like I mentioned. But here you can see when a user log in, a normal user, they can get to see all the information that's important. Right now, the main information and other details are dynamic, so the user is able to edit them. However, this field here right now is all just front end code. There's nothing dynamic about the code that you're seeing from about exercises, meals, and reports. That's something I plan to work on in the future, because I've got to a point where now I'm quite comfortable with the overall syntax of Java, and I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, which is the reason why I didn't bother implementing these. But it's something that I should work on. And the overall objective of this is just for users to be able to see how their daily habits affect their life in general. So you can see here, if you exercise, you can get all the details. As I said, this is not dynamic. All the data that you're seeing here is very static. But the point of this is so that users can add data based on what the exercises they've been doing and what they've been eating, and then eventually we could give the user an overall score, because back home in Gambia, people don't really have this mindset like people do in the Western world, that what you eat and how you train will impact your overall health. I mean, it depends what part of Africa you're living as well, so it's subjective. But yeah, and that's the overall point of this. Like in Gambia, particularly, our diet is very poor, and a lot of people don't exercise. So I thought if we could have an application like this where you can give people an overall score every day. So if someone eats, let's say, cereal, domoda, and nyebe, and let's say, depending on the score that we have on the database, if these are not healthy meals, then the user will get a poorer score. And that's pretty much it. And I'll go in and log in for the second user so that you can see. So, for example, you got Julius, who's a doctor, and then you would see Julius would have just a slightly different interface compared to the patient. So with the doctor can also go and see their own profile, and then the doctor can see only the hospitals that they're part of. So those are the two pages that the doctor can see. I'm not quite sure. Some of these might not work because of the data that we have there. Yeah, the data in the database is not perfect, so you could see there's probably something like it might not have a first name or an admin or something like that. Sorry, not a first name, but a name for the hospital. And then, but this one seems to have all the right details, and you can see the list of doctors that are part of this. So you can see the list of patients who are part of this as well. That's what the doctor can see. The doctor can see all this information, and the doctor can even go ahead and add a patient, but he can't go and add another doctor. So let's say if a patient joins this place and they want to have an account and they're at the hospital, they can have a conversation with doctor. I want to add this, but it's a lot of fails. I'll try anyway. Um, Henry Jadamo, put Fred. Just trying to hurry up as much as I can. Date of birth. Let's see. Yep, so that's the date of birth. Weight 10. Let's go for 10. And also, one thing I haven't done is added validation for this. That started taking a bit of time, but I wanted to apply Laravel's way of validating data just to copy their process of having clean code. So let's say I'm using my own details here. So let's say Henry at yahoo.com. 0762, trying to use my own number without necessarily www.google.com, compound name, town, so yeah, I'm trying to use some Gambian towns here just to have the right details. And let's say if he creates this patient now, and that patient, he gets to see the profile of that patient. Like you can see Henry Jadama, the last name Fred, and all the necessary information. Like I said before, all of these are quite static. So let's say if you go back now and you go back to, I think this was the hospital we clicked on right there, you get to see Henry is now part of this hospital, and then he can visit Henry's detail. So yeah, the doctor's able to also edit the user's profile, but just to save time, I wouldn't go into all that. But actually, I think it should be quite quick because the fields should be filled in, the older fields, so he could just update the patient's details and all that. So I'll go back and do that again. Let's change the patient's name instead of Henry Y, Henry I, and update. So you get to that gets updated into the database. And so now we'll log in as an admin. So I think an admin would be, I think an admin. I think I have admin at yahoo.com. Password 123. So we log in. Okay, this is where I have to go back. I think I still have my own email. Yeah, I updated the database without saving it. But yeah, and now that's the admin user, and you can see an admin gets to see all the hospitals. So the admin can even add a new hospital, and then they can select a lead doctor, and then they can literally go to see the list of doctors, and then they can visit a doctor's profile, edit a doctor's details, and then they can see their own profile. So say if I go here and I want to, I don't know how long this is, but we'll try. Let's say, for example, Carton, Carton, it's town in Gambia, and then we have Carton at yahoo.com. So 07506659331 www.google.com. Carton, Carton. Hopefully this works. Yeah, and now you can see the admin was able to create a new hospital, and you can see the lead doctor for the hospital is Alexander Conqueror. I was trying to be cool with the names, but so let's say if I decide to give this, update this, and give it to Julius Caesar, for example, update the name, you can see the lead doctor is now Caesar. And let's say if I log out and then I log in as Julius. and then you can see now Julius can now see this hospital right here, and then that's it. The details, and the only doctor is Julius. And then if Julius goes to his profile, he can also see it under the list of hospitals that were added. So it should be here, Carter, right here. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, this application is not complicated at all. It's just a basic application to help me learn Java, as well as how to write clean code based on what I've learned from my previous job by working on Laravel, because Laravel has an amazing structure for coding projects. So I was literally trying to apply the same thing to this project, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not unfortunately it's not a real application, so I'm not solving the problem in Gambia, but hopefully I'll have the opportunity to solve that one day. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.